Locked On Podcast Network presents Locked On Sports Today.
Shedeur Sanders feels pretty confident about his spot in Cleveland, but do the Browns feel the same? Also, the Yankees tried to salvage an awful series versus the Red Sox, and the Steelers are getting ready to surprise the NFL.
I'm Peter Bukowski, starting your day with the can't-miss stories and biggest debates in sports. You're Locked On Sports Today.
Searching all major sports. Found.
Let's start with the biggest story.
It is the hottest topic in the NFL that will affect the NFL season, maybe the least out of anything, and that is the Browns quarterback battle. Shedeur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel. It has spawned a cult following, Shedeur Sanders, and what has gone on in the preseason. Spencer German has been with us every step of the way from Locked On Browns, and Spencer, in some ways, the last week or two has, I think, shed some light on why Shedeur Sanders fell in the draft, because I have seen, and I'm sure people listening have seen, some truly unhinged takes about what has gone on with Shedeur Sanders over the last couple of weeks. Dylan Gabriel looked terrific in preseason. We saw some ugliness and some good stuff from Shedeur Sanders. Like you and I talked about what happened last week and the week before. Where do we stand with all of this in Cleveland land?
Yeah, it is kind of funny. A team that is projected to win like 4.5, 5.5 games is so present in the zeitgeist of this.
Oh my God, I know
this phase of the NFL, which is like this year's storylines is crazy. I mean, I'll take it. It's fun. I love it, but it is kind of funny that the Browns oftentimes fly under the radar. Nobody cares about them, and here they are with everybody talking about them. But no, you're right. I think like it was a slow build from April when the Browns drafted Shedeur Sanders of like, just kind of crazy takes to then like, all right, this is a little bit more of an absurd take that you have, to now it's just like unhinged thoughts on what's going on and how he's being sabotaged. And I just don't buy any of those things. I think the Browns are trying to show patience with him. And I do think Saturday's preseason finale for Cleveland showed you a little bit why that's the case. You said you think it was kind of evidence of why he fell a little bit in the draft. I think that's probably true to an extent. I also think you see why he's fourth on the depth chart right now, and why it's okay that he doesn't have it all figured out right now as well. Like that's the nuance I'm trying to bring to the situation is like, listen, I still think the talent is there for Shedeur Sanders. I've seen it. I think at practice, we definitely saw it throughout training camp. I still attest that he was the most consistent of the quarterbacks when he was out there healthy throughout the entirety of training camp. But I think you sort of saw in the second preseason outings, just some of his warts kind of get exposed a little bit. It was the drifting in the pocket. There was a couple times where he had a pocket he could step up into and he didn't. And to be clear, full context, he wasn't in the best situation while he was out there when you're playing with the threes. And I think I forget exactly off the top of my head, like what his time to throw was, but it wasn't very good. Like he didn't have, there was constant pressure in his face. It was very much like Colorado. And at the NFL level, it's just different because these are the best. Like, 2 seconds in the pocket feels a little bit faster in college than it does in the NFL because guys are just a tick slower. So to me, I sort of just surmise all of this as Shedeur's a rookie. And I still think the talent's there. I still think he can be a good quarterback in this league and potentially even be that quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. But it's going to take some time. And the Browns, I think, are doing the right thing by not putting him out there too soon. And I think people have to be able to wrap their heads around the idea that it's okay that he doesn't start immediately and it's okay that he has things to work on, because even he has said he knows he has things to work on. He literally told us that 2 days before the game this past week that he's very aware of the fact that he knows he's working on things, and that's okay. And that when his time will come when God says it's his time. So I'm sort of paraphrasing him now, but I think those are the things that people have to keep in mind when it comes to Shedeur Sanders, who I know is a very polarizing topic in general, but it doesn't have to be like this referendum on who he is as a player for his career. And it doesn't have to mean that like he got robbed and sabotaged and all these other crazy things that people are saying.
Yeah, it seems like the person keeping the most level head about all of this is Shedeur Sanders, ironically enough, and that he has said all the right things about what he needs to work on. Okay, so you mentioned it. I want to get your answer directly on this. This idea that, Dillon Gabriel got a version of the offense that Shedeur Sanders didn't. Oh, hey, look, max protection, all these quick throws, and that Shedeur Sanders got some other version of the offense set up to fail. This has been the criticism that we've heard really for multiple weeks here. You say what to that?
Admittedly, I haven't gone back and watched the All 22 yet. I usually do that after every game. I'm probably going to be doing that on Monday here. As of recording this, I haven't watched it. So,
sure.
But I from what I understood, like as I was watching the game unfold, it was very similar things to what you saw Shedeur doing 2 weeks back when he was great, when he was awesome against the Carolina Panthers. They understand where both these quarterbacks are at, the things that they've grasped at this point. And I do think some of the stuff that Shedeur struggled with in this game were also some of the things that we've seen him do well at practice. And even in that first preseason game where it was like, okay, step up in the pocket and take the easy throw. The guy that kind of is getting open on like a check down, that guy's there, throw the football. And he just didn't do it as well this time around. But Kevin Stefanski's offense is Kevin Stefanski's offense. I did not see him doing things that were like completely off script or like, hey, let's go out and just, draw up some plays in the dirt and see what we're doing. Like there's a lot of levels concepts to what Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders have run. And those are easy concepts, I think, for a rookie to really grasp and understand. They were doing those exact same things when Shedeur was out there and when Dillon was out there. That narrative is just patently ridiculous. And if you want to argue again that he didn't necessarily have the same opportunity because he was with the threes and the blocking didn't hold up as well and all that, and maybe the receivers weren't as good, I will hear you on that. But to act like every step of the way the coaching staff is trying to screw him over, like I just don't know why the master plan for the Browns would be, after everybody passed on him for 4 rounds, the Browns all of a sudden decide, you know what, let's pull the trigger in the 5th round. And our grand plan with this 5th round pick is that we're just going to sabotage his career. That just doesn't make any sense to me. I don't like what they wouldn't have traded up and wasted a pick on a guy. That was the plan they were trying to execute here. I think people are having a hard time seeing the forest through the trees on this one. But I get it to an extent because Shedeur is a very polarizing topic.
You can stay up to date all year on the Cleveland Browns by subscribing to Locked On Sports Today and Locked On Browns on YouTube or your favorite podcast app. You're Locked On Sports Today. Coming up, the Yankees are riding the struggle bus. Before we get to that, the Eagles might have a new QB2. August 26th is officially FanDuel Futures Day, a brand new holiday for football fans who live for bold predictions and preseason hunches. For just 24 hours, FanDuel is giving you deals on NFL season predictions. So whether you're calling your MVP, eyeing a long shot division winner, or ready to crown your Super Bowl champ before week 1 even kicks off, this is your moment. Maybe you believe the Green Bay Packers are going to win this Super Bowl, or maybe you have some division winner dark horses you'd like to parlay. I do. Maybe put the Broncos and the Jaguars together. You want to throw in someone like the NFC West? Let's throw the 49ers in there. Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your futures bets now, because Futures Day is one day and one day only. FanDuel, play your game. The Eagles have traded for Vikings quarterback Sam Howell.
Howie Roseman makes his 3rd trade of August. The Philadelphia Eagles are sending a 5th and 7th round pick to the Minnesota Vikings for quarterback Sam Howell and a 6th rounder. I'm Louis DiBiase, host of the Locked On Eagles podcast. Sam Howell is a good quality backup. I really like this trade in a vacuum. He showed in 2023 that he can be a starter. Maybe not a high-end, long-term franchise guy, but I think he can be one of the best backup quarterbacks in the NFL. But the thing is, the Eagles already had that. They had that in Tanner McKee, which means this trade tells me that that finger injury might be a little more serious than the Eagles let on or than we thought. He could be out a little bit longer than we thought. So I like the move, but it might not be good news for Tanner McKee. Regardless, though, they had to upgrade that QB3 spot with Kyle McCord and DTR just not being good enough. Side note about this trade, the Vikings just replaced Howell with Carson Wentz. The Eagles keeping Carson Wentz employed. The plot thickens.
The Eagles, not the only Phillies making moves right now over on the Diamonds. The Phillies held off the Nationals.
Normally taking 2 out of 3 against the Washington Nationals isn't really cause for celebration, but when the Nats have been the thorn in the side of the Mets and the Phillies as of late, yeah, this is well worth celebrating. Phillies get the 3-2 victory over the Washington Nationals to take 2 of 3 of their weekend series. Ranger Suarez dominant through 7 scoreless innings of baseball, only allowing 3 hits, no walks, didn't hit anybody either, and also struck out a career-high 11 batters, picking up his 10th win of the season. Tanner Banks also came in a bases-loaded, nobody-out situation and allowed just 1 run to score, getting the ground ball, double play ball that he needed and got out of that jam. Then the Phillies also looked to Orion Kerkering in the 9th inning. He picked up the save despite allowing a solo home run, and Rafael Marchand, getting the start behind the plate, drove in all 3 Phillies runs in the victory. Now the Phillies head to Flushing, New York to take on the New York Mets, who they lead in the NL East now by 7 games.
Paul Skeens dominated the Colorado Rockies.
Well, the Pirates did what you're supposed to do to the Rockies. They swept them, and they shut them out for a second time in this series. Their 16th shutout of the season. Hey, this is Gary from Locked On Pirates. The pitching is the story. No matter who you're facing, no matter what. You throw this many shutouts, it's a sign that your pitching is special. And the Pirates' pitching is special. More than anything, this series against the Rockies has shown me, at least, the importance of putting a few hitters onto this team next year, as opposed to thinking that you have to redo the math or start over or move backwards in any way, shape, or form. I just do not think that's the path for this team. Jared Triolo, again, came up big in this one offensively. He's really stepped up these last few weeks. It's getting to the point where you got to start taking it a little more seriously. Again, whether you like it or not, whether you've decided about him or not, this is exactly what this time of year is about for a non-contending team. And when you learn something, you have to actually take the knowledge. And I think that's what you got to do with Jared Triolo. Let's see how it plays out the rest of the year.
The New York Yankees were starting to get out of their slump before facing the Red Sox. Locked On Yankees postcast host Jay Berman recapped a very disappointing series in Boston.
All right, as we said, the Yanks finally beat the Red Sox. The win streak for Boston over the Yankees ends at 8. 7-2 the final score. As we said, 2 home runs apiece for Jazz Chisholm and Trent Grisham, both going yard twice. We'll get to it. The Yanks are now 5-15 against the Red Sox and Blue Jays this season. And again, as we said, Boston leads the season series now 8-2. Believe it or not, those are bookend wins for the Yankees. The first game they played the Red Sox this year, and then tonight being the last game they played the Red Sox so far this year. In between, 8 consecutive Red Sox wins. Really an amazing stat, and what a season it's been between these two rivals. Still have another series to go, but again, obviously, the Red Sox have won the season series from the Yankees. Believe it or not, Boston had a chance to do something. 1, they've never done at the new Yankee Stadium, and 2, haven't done in almost 100 years. They had a chance to finish off the 4-game sweep of the Yankees in New York. It would have been their first 4-game sweep at Yankee Stadium since 1939, which, of course, for you historians out there, just so happened to be Ted Williams' rookie season. Again, 1939 was the last time it happened. It will not happen again this year because Yanks and Red Sox, or at least during the regular season, have completed their games in New York. All right. As for the home runs, we'll get to it. We'll start with the pitching. Carlos Rodon, good, not great. Did not allow an extra base hit tonight. In fact, he has not allowed an extra base hit in his last 3 starts. The problem, of course, is the walks, and there were more of them tonight. Rodon failed to get through 6, throwing 103 pitches. 5 2/3, 1 hit, the single to Bregman in the first inning, 2 earned runs, both coming off a Luke Weaver hit, but obviously those were walks charged to Rodon. Again, 5 2/3, 1 hit, 2 earned, 5 walks, and only 3 strikeouts. Now, as we said, 103 pitches, just 59 for strikes. So again, the ratio not good for Rodon. Speaking of not good, he now has 24 walks since the All-Star break. That's the most by any pitcher in all of baseball in that span. So again, not giving up the big hits, but giving up the walks. And that's exactly what got him into trouble tonight. Now, as we said, Luke Weaver gives up the hit to Nathaniel Lowe that plates 2 for the Red Sox. That came obviously in the 6th inning, but those runs were charged to Rodon. So to be fair, despite troubles, or at least into and out of trouble for the bullpen tonight, Weaver, Williams, and Doval do not give up an earned run. But again, Weaver allows 2 inherited runners to score on the Lowe single. And again, both those runs charged to Rodon, who walked 5 tonight, which is not good, especially when you're walking guys at the bottom of the order. Duran had a walk. Garcia had a walk. Then obviously walks at the top of the lineup are no sin because the Red Sox have a pretty good lineup. But again, when you get 5 walks and only 3 strikeouts from one of your aces, well, the Yankees needed to hit home runs to win, and they did exactly that. And they've been pretty good when they do. As for Jazz home runs, the 2-run home run in the 2nd inning, believe it or not, gave the Yankees the lead for the first time since Thursday. We're already on to the following week. Yanks hadn't had a lead between Thursday and Sunday night. Amazing stuff. Believe it or not, for Jazz, it wasn't the only home run he hits tonight. Of course, he hits 2 2-run home runs. In his career, home runs number 100, the first one, and 101, the second one. It's his 3rd multi-home run game this season. As for Trent Grisham, more of the same. 2 home runs for him, both bombs, and 2 home runs in a game for the 2nd time in the last 5 games. Again, all the Yankees do is hit home runs.
Stay up to date all year on the New York Yankees by subscribing to Locked On Sports Today and Locked On Yankees on your favorite podcast app and on YouTube. The sound you hear is the world's smallest violin being played by baseball fans everywhere. Coming up, the Steelers will surprise the NFL. The Pittsburgh Steelers are going all in on the offensive line. Locked On NFL host Tony Wiggins and Matt Williamson explain why the investment in the trenches will help the Steelers sneak up on the rest of the NFL this season.
I love Kevin Colbert. I have a great relationship with him. I think he was a phenomenal GM. But there was a long stretch where they ignored offensive linemen much too much. And as soon as Omar took over, he started drafting tackles and Zach Frazier and McCormick and now Harmon and Benton, big, nasty people. And this is AFC North football. It's Tomlin football. And that's 100% where it starts. So I'm 1,000% with you. And I think the O-line has questions, but it has a lot of upside. The D-line, to me, has no questions, especially if you're including Watt and Highsmith and those edge guys, you know.
Guys, I've seen this before. The New York Jets last year had a pretty good offensive line. The New York Jets the year before had a pretty good offensive line. Aaron Rodgers doesn't want to get hit. And even if the Steelers have a fine to good offensive line, it's not going to matter. The total number of players who have completed a full season at the age that Aaron Rodgers is at currently is 1. It's Tom Brady. I just don't see it. I know he's with Mike Tomlin, and so whatever attitude questions you might have, maybe those things are subverted a little bit. I don't see it. I just don't see it. I think this is a Steelers team that will break the Tomlin. It's not a curse, though some Steelers fans will say that. It will break the streak. I think this team wins 7 games, maybe 8 games, and they have to blow it up in a year. That's what this Pittsburgh Steelers season is headed toward. And finally, Cal Raleigh is officially in a league of his own. The Mariners catcher belted his 48th and 49th dingers of the season against Oakland, breaking Salvador Perez's single-season record for catchers. Raleigh now stands as the first catcher in history to reach 49, with Hall of Fame company like Johnny Bench and Mike Piazza trailing behind on the list. And with 31 games left, he's got a real shot at Ken Griffey Jr.'s franchise record of 56 bombs. Not bad for a guy who just a couple years ago was really just trying to prove he belonged in the show. Ken Griffey Jr., we're talking about the kid. He can break that record. That's incredible. If you're catching this episode after hearing your favorite Locked On show, make sure to subscribe to Locked On Sports Today on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss an episode. Also, if you're a new subscriber to Locked On Sports Today, we're here for you with the biggest stories in sports every day. Coming up, how are the Seahawks moving now that preseason ball is over? So at least until tomorrow, stay Locked On Sports Today.
Locked On Podcast Network presents Locked On Sports Today.
For more episodes of Locked On Sports Today, go to our video on demand. Click on Sports at the top of your screen. There, you'll find past episodes of Locked On Sports Today, plus other Locked On shows on demand.